Welcome back. If you have ever started learning to code, you have probably asked yourself a very reasonable question. Why are there so many programming languages? Why do we need Java, Python, C++, JavaScript, and hundreds of others? Why can't we just create one perfect, universal language that does everything? Today, we are going to explore the technical and historical reasons behind this diversity. The idea of a universal language is appealing. Imagine learning just one syntax and using it to build websites, fly rockets, and train artificial intelligence. But in reality, this is the Swiss Army knife problem. A tool that tries to do everything usually ends up doing nothing perfectly. A language designed to be easy for beginners might be too slow for video games. A language designed for hardware control might be too complex for simple scripts. We have to make trade-offs. The first major trade-off is between performance and productivity. On one side, we have languages like C++ and Rust. They give you manual control over the computer's memory. This makes them incredibly fast, but harder to learn and write. On the other side, we have languages like Python or Ruby. They handle the complex details for you, making you very productive, but the code runs slower. You cannot easily have maximum speed and maximum simplicity at the same time. Sometimes, the choice isn't technical, it is forced by the platform. The web is a perfect example. Web browsers historically only understand JavaScript. No matter how much you might prefer another language, if you want your code to run natively in a user's browser, you are stuck with the JavaScript ecosystem. This monopoly created a massive divide between web languages and everything else. Then there are specialized fields like data science and artificial intelligence. Here, Python is the king. This isn't because Python is the fastest language, it is actually quite slow. But it became the standard because it is easy for scientists and mathematicians to read, and it has a massive library of tools that connect to high-performance code written in C. The community momentum here makes it nearly impossible to replace. Now look at the hardware level. Your operating system, or the tiny chip inside your microwave, needs to run with zero wasted resources. High-level languages like Python or Java have too much overhead for these tasks. We need languages like C and Rust that can talk directly to the hardware without a middleman. As long as we have hardware constraints, we will need low-level systems languages. History also plays a huge role. Believe it or not, a massive chunk of the world's banking and government systems still runs on COBOL, a language from 1959. Why? Because rewriting billions of lines of mission-critical code is dangerous and expensive. If it works, companies don't fix it. This keeps older languages alive decades longer than you might expect. Programmers also think differently. Some prefer object-oriented programming, where everything is modeled as an object. This is great for large enterprise systems. Others prefer functional programming, which treats code like mathematical formulas. This is excellent for data processing and keeping bugs to a minimum. Different languages enforce these different ways of thinking, catering to different types of problems and developer preferences. Finally, there is the ecosystem. When you choose a language, you aren't just choosing syntax. You are choosing the libraries, frameworks, and community. You might create a new language that is better than Java, but if it doesn't have the millions of libraries and Stack Overflow answers that Java has, no one will use it. The network effect is a powerful barrier to consolidation. So, we can't use just one language because the world of computing is too vast for one tool. We need specialized tools for specialized jobs. Diversity in programming languages isn't a problem to be fixed. It is a feature that allows us to build everything from tiny smartwatches to massive supercomputers. Thanks for watching, and remember to use the right tool for the job.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.